Hello, and welcome back to Sarah's country cottage. I'm just stood at our back door, which is where I'm going to start our little garden tour for April. And we've got our ornaments out, which includes this little duck and its duckling or gosling. So I love these baskets. They're plastic, but they look really good. They're from Home Bargains, and so they'll weather really well. I don't have to worry about them, and I really like the look. There you go. I have an owl on our back door. There isn't space for a knocker on our front door, so I put it on the back door instead. It's painted in Farrow and Ball, Lichan. The windows are the same. The wooden windows. So the house at the back, there you go, you can see it's curved. So let's have a walk up. So the tete-a-tetes have all faded now, but the muscari are going. This little trough belonged to Robert's father, and he gave it to us probably not too long actually before he passed. So we like to keep that filled with flowers. We love it. So here you can see I've got some more of those baskets from Home Bargains. Now for this one, I've just put in a little plastic pot full of these beautiful primulas, and then when they've faded I can replace it with something else for summer. In here we've got a foxglove growing. Ooh, I've got a little midge on me. I do not want to be bitten, so I'm just going to knock it off, so excuse me. Some euchre and these beautiful, can you see, pansies. So initially I had all pots along this wall, but the frost is getting to them. So that is why I'm changing to these baskets. And for spring we've had these beautiful anemones, but they're going now. I don't think they're going to throw up any more stems, but they have brought us an awful lot of pleasure, as has these miniature that you're going to focus. Come on. Aren't they beautiful? They're so tiny, so pretty. So as I said, we've got out our little ornaments, and this is Mrs. Tittlemaus. Now this is our big pussy willow, and it chucks down whenever it's windy. We get a lot of branches and twigs, so I've yet to move these and still more to gather up, because even on the slightest breeze it just cascades so many. So here you can see we've got our toadstools, our little fairy, little hen picking for food, or pecking for food. More of these beautiful little narcissi, muscari, some swift, cowslips, and look, can you see Jemima puddle duck, a little chick, just by our little miniature beehive. And here you can see some aquilegia about to flower, for we have had 2 weeks of sunshine and it has really brought everything on. So I shall just, you can see this is the side of the cottage. So we've got a path down here, we've got a gate, and I've got this gate on Facebook Marketplace, and I hope to, because what I want to do with our garden is create rooms. So that is a project, and here I've just got a little pot which I might remove because it is a dark corner here. This is not doing too bad, but I might plant it out on our hill. So let's have a walk round. So I'm walking by the side of the kitchen and our boot room. I haven't shown you the boot room yet, have I? That will be another video. So along the picket fence, now the picket fence is made from pallets, and a very good friend made them for me. And then here we are. So we call this our kitchen garden because that's our kitchen. And this is the boot room. So the cottage, when we moved in, we had it all repointed in line, and it does look beautiful. And we had all the windows were rotten, so we had all the windows replaced with new. So it's nice to see here the baskets. I think the baskets are looking really lovely. And then here we have an apple tree. So I wanted a fruit tree on either side of the gate. So there's our gate, and again that's been made out of old pallets. And then on top of the gate you can see we've got a little robin and a little wren. They're from the National Trust. And then I have actually filled 2 more baskets here beside the gate. So these, I've got like mauve wallflowers, there's little pink dianthus, and then white pansies and violas. So hopefully they'll look nice for summer. Now here at this side we've got this old stone trough. Now I need to plant that up yet. And then we have this one here. Now this conifer's not doing very well, so what I'm going to do is cut off all the lower branches and I'll make it into like a standard lollipop ball. And in here we have some beautiful unusual bulbs that come up in summer. I think they're a type of orchid actually. So anyway, maybe when they are in bloom I'll show you and you can tell, somebody can tell me exactly what they are. So here we've got a little pear tree by our oil tank. Because of where we live, we don't have any main gas, so we need oil. So I'm just going through the gate now. As you can see, there are branches down, but everything, look at, they're still there. Those bright red stems, I don't know if it's going to pick it out, but that's doing really well. And there's little primulas over there, little pink and white ones. They're doing great. And then the wild native primrose, they're all doing so well. You can see that we've got more branches tumbling down. And I love this path. This was all just rough grass, rough ground when we moved in. And this is what we've created. As you can see, we've got more garden ornaments there. And these are a lovely pink, but I'm not sure the camera's picking it up very well. So this is our shady garden, and here against it I created this just with bamboo canes and some string. I created this framework so that I could try and disguise. So I think this is Montana that I've got about to flower, growing up against it. And then here in these old milk bottles I'm using as a cloche to protect some sweet peas. So I've got that there, and I've done the same round there as I created another wigwam with some hazel sticks there. So hopefully we'll have some nice sweet peas to grow up and hopefully just disguise the oil tank. I've planted some foxgloves there because again they don't mind the shade, and this is a shady spot when it comes into leaf. And then at the other side of that, 2 years ago, because that was when we first did this section of the garden, we planted this acer, and it's got, let me just see if I can get on the stepping stones, get a bit closer. Can you see the colour? Is it picking it out? It really is vibrant, it's beautiful. So next to it I've got a hydrangea. Now we are the north of England, So all our hydrangeas are very behind. I'm going to take you so down here is where I was stood before, where you could see a little side table and chairs. So this is looking at it from the other side, again with our little hen. Oh, and of course we've passed Peter Rabbit. So as well as Mrs. Tiggywinkle, Tittlemouse there, Mrs. Tittlemouse, we've got Peter Rabbit. And then this wall was tumbling down when we first moved in. So there's no mortar in it, but we just placed the stones back and tried to create this little wall. And it's usually where the auriculas go. And I've just been potting a lot on. So what I want to do is maybe put some slightly bigger pots on, filled with some flowers for the summertime. And here we have the gatepost. I love this. Look at this little bunny. Isn't he gorgeous? Hopefully you can hear the birdsong, as well as tractors. So, now then, this stone here was all part of my dad's chimney that he took down, and he gave us the stone. And we're using some of the stone because what we've been doing since my last video, now this was all covered in this weed membrane, but what we've done, if you look at it, it was just covered before. We removed the membrane and we've dug out a flat section. We've created a terrace. So this is work in progress. I want to dig around it to create beds around it, like we're trying to do here. But the weeds are so prolific. I mean, you've all the grasses on the hill, there's buttercups, ground elder, bindweed, as well as your nettles and everything else. But yeah, this is our single bay tree, because the other one we lost about 2 years ago in a harsh frost. They were by the front door, so now I'm using goldcrest and I'm going to topiarise them instead. So anyway, as you can see here, I've just placed some of the stone. So I've created this terrace, and I want to create this little stone wall at the back as a retaining wall. Not that I think it would go anywhere, the ground, because it's just heavy clay. So, but we want this to be a nice little seating area, so we'll gravel it. We'll have the stone wall, and then we'll just plant around it and create a nice little enclosed area. That's an acer there. Now that acer there, I don't know if you can make it out, but that spent 28 years in a pot. I got that when my son was born, and it's been with me. This is the third home it's been in, and I thought, well, let's get it in the ground, let's plant it. So here we go. So this is a lovely Weigela. I don't know what type, but that'll be nice flowers soon. And then you can just look back and see the wall again. There's forget-me-nots seeded in there, and I don't mind that. I think forget-me-nots are beautiful. And the other thing I'll let seed is foxgloves. I'm having to water them a lot because they are struggling. Look at this little bunny, isn't that cute? And then we've got a little honey beehive there. And then I also, just going back on myself, just to show you that this old little feeder. I love paraphernalia for the garden. Oh look, and here's another little friend down here. He's having a rest from digging, which is exactly what I'm doing, because that's what I've been doing today. So let's have a stroll around. So this holly was a seedling in my parents' garden, and they dug it up, and hopefully it's going to take. It's got some grass growing up there, so we need to get rid of that. Thankfully this echinops is growing back because something ate it. We do get the deer eating a lot. It's whether it was deer or whether it was pheasant or something else, I'm not sure, but thankfully That's now been left and it's recovering. Next to it, you can see there, can you see there? Little rose cutting. Now that's going to be against the odds because of the deer. The deer come and roses to them are like candy. So they will come and they'll just eat that. So I'm hoping they don't notice it. What I do need to get, I think, my mum said, is that if we plant lavender next to roses, that's quite a good deterrent. So I might need to try that. So I've got some more tulips there. Now this holly was a seed, well, it was not quite a seedling, but it was growing in the hawthorn hedge. So we don't get much traffic around here, but every now and again there's an odd car. We are in a village. So yes, this holly was growing in the hawthorn hedge. This hawthorn hedge must have been about 20 feet and we've cut that back to a more manageable size. And now we're trying to grow, we've got an unusual, and if I come round here, down this path, what I'm trying to do is, because between the hawthorn hedge, you make it out, I'm probably in the way, but want to create an arch. I'll turn around and look back at it, might be easier from that way. So we're going to grow an arch there, train an arch, and up it I've got a clematis growing here. If only I could remember which one. It could be Montana, I'm not sure. Then when we first bought the cottage, there was a honeysuckle growing at the front of the house, and we needed to remove all the plants at the front of the house so that we could get the pointing done. So initially we put this at the back of the flat garden. I'll show you the flat garden after. And we planted it by a compost bay that we created. But now, recently, we've used some more pallets and created a second compost bay. I know ideally we could do with 3, but it's gonna have to be. So we've removed it again, this honeysuckle, and it's here now. So hopefully it'll be happy growing through the hawthorn. And it has actually got some new shoots, so that's good. So hopefully that will grow through there. And it's not your common honeysuckle that we find in our English hedgerows. This is a red one. I don't know the name of it, but it's red. Yeah, really quite different. And then on this side of the hawthorn to grow up through, I'm going to try a passion flower which I've planted here. I'm not quite sure how that will survive. It's not something I've ever grown before. Now, as you can see here, this is something I need to take care of, because look at all that ground elder. Now the thing is, I mean, it took over here last year and it is beautiful. It's like Queen Anne's lace when it flowers. It really is so lovely and delicate, and it's a great filler for my vases. So anyway, this is our little side window that goes into the sitting room. And at the weekend, well, it wasn't the weekend actually, it was just the other night, we put out the table and chairs. Just a nice quiet little spot to sit and listen to the birdsong. Here, can you make out, I've got a little rusty robin. And here, we've got some boxing hares. We've got some late flowering daffodils. And then one of my favourites for our garden is Nepeta, because it's a good doer. Doesn't mind the clay and the stone. It just comes back. It's, you know, we've had this now for 4 years. It's doing brilliantly. Another good one for us is Astrantia. That's behind. Now I love the rusty. So here in this part of the garden, I'm trying to keep a theme of the rusty metalworks. So we've got a lovely rusty arch there, and up this we've got a clematis called Sarah Elizabeth, which is actually my name. And then we've got this lovely, and one year I grew, the first year we got this from the Burford Garden Company. We got a few things from there. I think the obelisk in the front garden are from the Burford Garden Company. It's a beautiful garden centre. Obviously at Burford in the Cotswolds. So we grew sweet peas up here. I mean, really, it would probably be more for vegetables, but I just like the look at it. I think it's so pretty. Anyway, moving on. I'll show you the turning round. So here we are. I do love to look at things in the garden, and this has been out all year. This is our rhubarb forcer. I just think it's something pretty. I still need to work in this section of the garden. I've got an awful lot to cut back. But there's just before the obelisk, I do like this obelisk. We got the obelisk from the wooden ones from Beathen Nursery and Garden Centre in Cumbria. And we did a cutting of the lilac, so that's doing well just in front of that. Here we've got a rose that's been eaten. It's trying to survive, but it keeps being eaten. And there we've got a delphinium, I think that's just struggling to grow through. Echinops is great in our garden. We've got a nice clump there. And again, this is a lovely geranium here. It's a lovely lilac one. And I've got more Nepeta. So there's a lot of gaps it needs filling in. It all takes time. There's an awful lot to do, but we're getting there. And as you can see, I'm just walking through this rusty arch to match our rusty obelisk. Now I planted to grow up here a wisteria. Now we bought this when it was flowering and it's lovely lilac-y blue flowers. So I'm not quite sure. I would have thought by now. Oh, just one little bud. Oh, I was worried it had died, but I thought, well, it doesn't look quite dead. But you'd think with 2 weeks of sun, we would have had some growth. And I mean, last year when we planted it, it was rampant climbing up this frame, but that stem doesn't look happy at all. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So this was a lovely lilac bush. We had to cut a lot back, a lot was dying, but for the first year now, first time, it's looking really good. So 2 of the plants that we had when we first came that was existing to the cottage is this old rose here, and I really hacked that back this winter, and already it's got amazing growth. And the other one, I'm not sure what you can make out, but here, now then, I'm going to have to step on the soil. We've just cut this hedge down. Go with me. I'll try and show you the front. So this is the front of our cottage. These are the obelisks that we got from the Burford Garden Company. And actually there, can you see the gold crest conifers at the front door? So those were where the bays were, and I had to replace them. Anyway, that rusty arch there, that's got an existing beautiful old English rose. Now just bear with me while I get back onto the path. So when we first moved in, the first thing we did was plant a beech hedge. So that's all got to be in leaf yet. It's still all the brown leaves of last year. We also planted this lovely laburnum, which is actually got buds, flower buds. Wow, that's going to be lovely. And then another lilac tree. So these 2, the laburnum and this lilac, we got from Holden Clough. Another beautiful garden centre in the heart. Now the sun's shining against me, so I can't see what I'm filming, but hopefully you can see the 2 wooden obelisks. I've got a clematis growing up this one, and then what I'm trying to do here, we've got this, we'll call this lavender walk because we've got a row of lavender, and then what I'm trying to do is standardise some holly. So we've got these very young and just as little bushes, cut off all the lower branches to create a lollipop, and hopefully as it grows up the cane I'll cut more lower branches, and then hopefully we'll grow a nice standard holly. And the reason I want to do that is so that in the winter time when all the flowers have died back, because I do love the perennials from summertime, at least then we've got some structure that's green all winter. So this is one that I've created now. What I'm going to do, so we call this the south garden. It's to the south of the cottage. I'm just going to, now bear with me, I'm going to just get back onto a bed and then I can show you. See, this is a little goldcrest conifer here, and I like to topiarise them. So this one I'm doing a spiral, and this one that's not doing very well and I might need to replace. I want to create another spiral there. See, that's more advanced because I had that in a pot close to the front door, but obviously it's outgrown, and I thought, right, let's get it in the ground. But it's beautiful, beautiful evening. And we've got an aeroplane up there, a little glider type one. We don't really get planes around here. So there's the front of the cottage. You can see the obelisk and the arch, and then I'm going to take you up this path here. This is another lilac cutting, more Nepeta, and then up here we've got another Acer. Primroses are doing well. Look at that, that's really grown into a clump. A lot of the daffs are now going over. I'm hoping that this hydrangea will be okay. Yes, I can see some buds, so hopefully that'll be okay. This rose the deer loves. This is a William lob. I'll take you up the path. So this is all work in progress. We have an awful lot to do. We get hundreds, if not thousands, of tree seedlings because we are surrounded by trees. Here we've got a crab apple, and then just an apple, and look, the beginnings of some apple blossom. So here you can see the weeds are taking over again. And here is a section that we've not really done anything to yet, but it shows you what we're up against. This is some concrete that we dug up out of the ground, and we've got a weed membrane under the path. Again, this square stone was part of my dad's chimney, so we're ever so grateful because that's really helped with our paths. But all the other stones, the cobbly rounded ones, are what we've dug up. So let's have a look back. It's coming on. That's another tractor going by. So let's walk up our hill. See, now that it's summertime, or not summertime but spring, and because we've had good weather, the farmers are very busy. Anyway, this is our hill that we need to terrace. Oh, it looks like a pheasant's lost some feathers there. Isn't feathers? Actually now you can see I'm above the terrace that we're creating. So hopefully that'll be somewhere nice to sit. So from here I can go to the edge of our hill. This is really quite steep, so I've got to be careful. But then I can show you a bird's eye view of our flat garden. We call it the flat garden because it's the only bit of garden that's flat. I think that was my husband looking up then. He's just sat out, he's just got home from work and just reading a book. Oh look, and I don't know if you can make out their head, but Robin's just landed on that little pole. So there's green mesh on a wire fence here because they have been doing some building behind us. And you'd think that would keep the deer out, but alas, it hasn't. Anyway, let's see if we can make it safely back off the hill. It is a little bit of an obstacle. The cottage looks lovely in the sun. Hawthorn is going into leaf because we've really had to cut it back again. I'm not sure whether we'll have any Mayflowers. This is snowberry. You know, like the snowberries that you get in Marks and Spencer's that everybody loves to buy. So this section here, I've still got to weed and cut back on the campanula. That's the campanula there. Geraniums here. They are thugs, they are. I love cowslips. So the sun is quite low now. It's probably about 7. So here, so this is our path. So we came up this one through the picket fence gate. So this was the kitchen garden. So we've been to the south garden. We came up, we went up the hill, and that's the terrace. And so now we're walking down here. Now this, the hill, spills onto our path, chucks down lots of seeds. So what we've done is we've got some more weed membrane and we've just chucked it along here, put it under this stone. All this stone came from my dad's chimney. As you can see, it was one heck of a big chimney. So hopefully it will make it easier for me, you know, because we're constantly having to pull the grass and pull up weeds, so hopefully that will make it easier. I've still got some weeding to do and cutting back here. I've worked on bits of it. There's just so much to do. And so now we're in the flat garden, and here's our second pear tree. I was just listening to the pigeon. There you can see the buttercups, look. All the buttercups. They really are thugs. So we've got 2 raised beds. So this is what we did first. This was done. We moved in June of 2020, and in September, because as soon as we moved in, I was busy painting everywhere. So in the September, we cleared this ground. We actually paid somebody with a digger because the weeds, the brambles, the nettles, they were probably about 5-6 feet high. It was just ridiculous. So we paid somebody to clear it. It was the best bit of money we ever spent. We both agree on that, don't we, Robert?
Yes, we do.
So what we did is we got some sleepers, and we because I wanted an area. I love flowers. I love growing cut flowers, and or flowers to cut. And I know that we're on heavy clay, lots of stone. So I thought if I do raised beds, I've got a fighting chance little did I know that the deer would come and eat everything. Because what we've got here, you can see we've got some phlox growing here. The deer love the phlox, they love the roses. But they didn't really come that first year, and it really has been beautiful. And the alliums are beautiful, we love the alliums. So what I've been working on now, so these are our chairs and tables. Here we've got our makeshift wood stores. These are our pots that we fill with summer bedding flowers, and we surround our table and chairs with them, and sometimes it really looks lovely together. We've got some Portuguese laurel here, which I'm aiming, like I said with the holly before, I'm doing the same with the Portuguese laurel. You know, because to buy them already as a standard lollipop, you were talking over £100. So these we bought from Newlands at Chatburn, and I think there's £7.50 for a little bush. Again, I always look for one with a good central stem, and then cut off the lower branches, and then hopefully we'll create a nice lollipop. And meanwhile, while they're in these pots, it gives a nice focal point to our summer bedding. So I'm working on this border at the moment. In fact, you can see my kneeler and bucket and tools down there. But we've planted some goldcress here because it's dark. We're surrounded by trees here, lots of trees. There's wild cherry. There's lots of ash. Unfortunately, I have ash dieback, but it's common ground that nobody really owns. And unfortunately, because of that, we get lots of more weeds coming through. So we've put this black up against the back just to try and help prevent the weeds coming through. And it does help, it is helping, it's not quite as bad as it was. So, and the goldcress will hopefully grow and create a nice hedge to cover the black, and then also being the goldcress, it's nice and light, so it'll just soften and lighten it all. So that's what we're hoping for. So here I've just been planting foxgloves and astilbe and lupins. I've been, astrantia has been seeding in the gravel paths. So I've been digging up those and planting them along here. And these are all stone. Some of these stone actually we bought from the company that did our line pointing for the cottage. And then again a lot we've dug up as we've been digging. So as you can see, this is all work in progress. And then you can see my work. I'm actually mulching it as I go along as well. So I'm just pulling back all the dead from last year. As you can see, there's some bit of dead on the goldcress. Hopefully that'll come too. So this now, here, is what we call the oval bed. So we've got a little oval here, but overall it's an oval shape, which I could showed you when we were stood at the top of this hill. So this, when we moved here, I brought with me my 4 David Austin roses, and the deer discovered them, and the deer loved them. So for the last 3 years we've had last year, so last summer I thought, right, let's get this wire, let's see if this helps. So we've just staked it using bamboo canes all the way around. Move around here, and then as a temporary gate, because I'm hoping eventually we can get deer-proof fencing and that will resolve the issue and we can just walk in and everything will be okay. But I have this as a little gate so I can get inside and do some weeding, and I still need to finish cutting back in here and some weeding, mulching. I've mulched this one. The roses are doing really well. Need to plant a few more little things. I don't know if you can make out the astilbe. So in there we've got astilbe, I've got eryngium, I've got a Johnson's blue geranium, I've got a veronica, and then I've got 4 roses and a couple of rose sticks that I'm hoping will spring into life. So here, now this wood here is not really wood to be outside. It's cheap wood. It was used in some old offices. It was our old offices actually, and we had to strip them out when we moved. So I thought, right, let's just try and make a little bit of a retaining wall just to keep back the grass, because this grass grows high, very high. And then again we've put a weed membrane. In fact, these are the latest stones that I've dug up. When I hose the flowers, I give these a bit of a hose and try and wash them down. So hopefully this will help this stay tidy. So we're walking down to the end. The sun is getting low now. So to try and keep down the weeds and the grasses here, because we covered it in cardboard last autumn, but it's full of deer footprints. The deer have trampled all over it, which is why we've now gone for the membrane instead, until we can get round and think what we're going to do with it. You know, I mean, ideally I'd love to terrace it. I mean, wouldn't it be nice with two, you know, central stairs going up? Or I also envisage along here like step over apples, something like that. But anyway, time will tell. So again, we like to separate and create rooms within our garden. And this section of the garden, now when I mentioned before our compost bays, this is our new one that we've done there, and then we've got our original one there. So we've moved the honeysuckle. We did have a little miniature poly tunnel there, and we grew some vegetables in there, but we lost that not last winter, the winter before. So this is an area that we need to work on now. You can see there's a lot to do, and that here is so steep, really steep. You can see we've got the builders here. Try not to film that, but this is where they're building. So let's come over here, and then I can show you the back of the cottage. And then how can I film this? Bear with me. And there's the arch. So that gate that I showed you at the side of the house before, I mean, maybe we could use, no, it's probably too wide, but I do envisage using it somewhere. But what I'm going to do, so here we've got this border, so this is where I'm working. I need to finish this and mulch it and weed it, and I want to bring the stone here and continue it along here all the way up to this bay, to the compost bay, so then this can be filled with plants. I know it's shady, we have got hostas growing and ferns, so that's what I want to do there. And then what I'll probably do is extend the gravel path. So these 3 stones were at the cottage originally. I'm trying to think where they were. Where did we dig these up from? But what we'll probably do is put them together at the front of the compost heap, and then we can easily sweep them up. But the rest of it, I'm going to do gravel. And then maybe do some raised beds here for vegetables. I'm not sure yet. It'll just evolve. Usually for me, I like my garden to evolve quite naturally. Now then, bear with me while I get around my tools. So we planted 2 yew when we first came, which I might topiarise into some form. So here we are, back at the raised beds. I'm not going to try and film Robert and allow him his privacy, but there you can see the cottage. The kitchen garden. So now the the back here, these are our pots that I need to do with summer bedding, as I said before, and then they'll be spread out around this area, and it does look pretty. And then this raised bed is for our strawberries and fruit. So there's raspberries and blueberries, there's a gooseberry. And here, this is a concrete slab that was here prior to us, and it's got a brick edging to it, so I wonder if it was a garage here before, or I could envision a beautiful greenhouse. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be the dream. But we've got our old wooden table and chairs here, and I use the table to pot up. So as I was saying, I do like auriculas, and so I've just redone all these auriculas. Here we've got a little violet. It's also where we keep the bins. I try to hide them with this little picket fence. And then hopefully this acer here, it's just in bud. It's just about to break, I think. No, a while longer yet. There's a beautiful big red acer, and it provides some nice shade. So I got this little pansy from, as you can see, Be Them Nursery at the weekend. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to pop that up and put it on the wall. And then these pansies here, I'm going to put in the two, either side of this picket fence that I showed you at the beginning. I'm going to put in there. And then this is our little, I'll just show the registration plates on our cars, but here's our little shed. And then this is just to create the screen. And then here are our herbs. So there we go, there's our oil tank. No escaping it, unfortunately. But there you go, let's end it. Let's go back to the little garden by the kitchen, because it looks very pretty right now. I should call it the spring garden, because it does look pretty in spring. So I hope you like the video, and I'll do another one next month of the garden, and there might be another one for Easter, because we've got quite a few little things to include for Easter. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.